to the Statesman podcast again. My name is Swat. I'm your host here, as you know by now. Before I go on, I would like to ask you to please kindly subscribe to our channel, like the videos, and well, every time you subscribe, you get to be notified when we have new videos here. My name is Swat again, and I'm joined this day by a beautiful, wonderful lady. Her name is Debbie Ohamara, or you can call her Deborah Ohamara. She's a journalist, and she joins me today as my guest. Thank you so much for joining me.
Good afternoon to you.
You look lovely, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so the issue at hand today is the new development regarding the ASUU strike. It's no news, of course, that ASUU has been on strike since February 14th, that Valentine gift that ASUU decided to give Nigerian students. It's been a back and forth between the federal government and the lecturers union, which is ASUU. A whole lot of issues has gone. But then the federal government went ahead to sue ASUU at the National Industrial Court. Now, just yesterday, Justice Polycarp Harman of the National Industrial Court gave an order saying ASUU needs to go back to the classroom. Now, this has generated lots and lots of, reactions from Nigerians. Some supporting this very order and some saying, no, ASUU should go ahead and appeal this because there's no guarantee that when they go back to the classroom, the federal government would meet up with its own side of the bargain. Now, Debbie, I'm sure you followed up on this news,
Yes,
right?
I did.
So what's your take on this particular order of the court, the National Industrial Court? First of all, how did you feel when you realized that the federal government had sued ASUU?
Well, I did not have a beautiful feeling because I thought that wasn't really fair. It should be an issue of discourse. We should be able to liaise with one another as to having an agreement with. So going to the court, well, if that's the last option, it's okay by the federal government, but an injunction has to be followed. Yeah. But the good thing about the law in Nigeria is that you have the right to appeal.
Yeah.
And as at this morning, we got the news that ASUU is ready to appeal. Was I happy that there was an injunction for ASUU to go back to the classroom? No, I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Reason is, well, ASUU could agree or decide to go back to the classroom,
Yeah.
obey the court, but has the problem been nipped in the bud? No, the solution is not there yet. And there's a possibility ASUU agrees to go back to the court
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, maybe in like 2 weeks or a month
They
later,
decide
they
to
still
go
go
back.
back.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people
You
say
know.
that, that, well, if federal government is insisting, let ASUU go back and then after a week, they should
But that
go
would be
back on strike.
childish.
Well, that's, I think
So
for me,
the back
if you
and
ask
forth
me,
is not.
that's what it has practically become.
Yeah.
It seems the government is not serious in terms of education.
Yeah.
If you remember some of the instances where, for example, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Honorable Bajabi Amila's picture was being splashed. He was taking a course or somewhere. And then he put it out there on social media and there was a backlash and he apologized.
And
then
not long ago, we had the president's
wife
wife celebrate her daughter-in-law.
Yes, exactly. So these are some of the things that many questions come to mind. Is it that the federal government, is it that the government is not bent on educating or ensuring that our educational sector booms? So,
Well, it has been more like a cancerous situation as regards education. Education has not been given priority in Nigeria, followed by, I think, health as well. And we need to do something about it because right now it's heart-wrenching. Personally, I attended a Nigerian university and
Public university.
a public university,
Yeah.
a public university, and I understand what it feels like to sit for lectures for hours. Did I say sit? I had to stand most often than
because
not.
there are no infrastructures.
Yes.
And these are part of the demands that are being put by us. Apart
And
from
lots
the
of parents
IPPIS,
do not
Utah-
understand the reason for the strike because we have some parents saying the strike should be called off. We do not want our children back home. They will be going through depression and all of that. It's not about calling off the strike. It's not about them going to school. It's about the quality they get at the end of the day from the school. So you go to school and at the end of the day, we have half-baked Nigerians and we still have politicians who will come out to say, well, there are jobs, but we have unemployable graduates.
Nigerian youth, yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are some of the issues, and I don't know. But then basically also now, moving forward, since ASU has gone on appeal, do you think this should also avail another opportunity for ASU and the federal government to sit down on the table, or that should strictly be decided by the court? Because one opinion is out there is that the courts are puppets in the hands of the federal government. So, what do you
Well,
think?
allegedly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's an opinion. It's just an opinion. It's not a
Yes.
fact. There's no fact to it.
Well, given that it's gone to court right now, it's more like a context. I do not see them sitting down to have a conversation any longer.
Yeah.
It's more like a fight now. Let's see who wins. But it would further, in my own opinion, it will
Deteriorate.
further, prolong the situation, at hand. And at the end of the day, I believe they would resort to settling out of court. That's my own opinion.
Now, let me bring a different twist to this conversation. It seems everywhere in the country you turn around, or everywhere you turn to, there seems to be some sort of controversy. We're talking about the ASU federal government impasse.
Yeah.
We also have some little fracas going down in some of the political parties, especially PDP. I'm sure you must have followed up to where it is right now, that just yesterday, some of the major political gladiators or bigwigs within the PDP decided to, withdraw from the Atiku presidential campaign group.
Yes, I did follow up
committee.
on that, and incidentally, it is quite painful to realize that there is a fire on the mountain, and we still have a presidential candidate expecting to get a win when his house is divided. It's really sad. But if the PDP is going through that, and the APC is having the issue whereby you have a Shatima rearing his head above the principal, which would be
and lots of controversial statements.
Yes, so
coming from
now
that.
the APC is even having a major issue, which is the issue of a Muslim ticket that seems to not favor the Southerners, and we have the other camp of Wike and Chief Body Judge. So you have those people contending, trying to get what I think it's more of a selfish pursuit right now, because let's imagine that Wike had gotten the vice presidential ticket.
Yes.
It would have been a different situation. I do not think Wike would want Ayu out in that regard.
Because of
Yes.
his own ambition. If he had
Exactly.
gotten it fulfilled.
If he had gotten it. So I think what's going on now is more like an afterthought. So they're not, okay, since I did not get this and I did not get that, so we need a chairman from the South. Ayu needs to go. But you cannot compel Ayu to go, just as Atiku has said as well. So you know what? They need to rejig, they need to scrap the National Working Committee of the PDP, which will not
How
happen.
does that even happen
No,
when we
it's
have
not.
less than 10 days to the
So,
campaigns?
It
I
actually,
mean, because it's a very dicey time at this point in time, if you ask me. If it was, let's say, maybe some 6-7 months, you would say that we're counting days
but you know what?
to the campaigns.
This actually points to the fact that whatever negative is going on in the two major parties may be in favor of a particular party.
The
right?
third first, right?
Yes, the
A lot
third
of people
force.
say that. Well, you guys are watching the Statesman podcast, having a very beautiful and interesting discussion with Deborah Ohamara, journalist par excellence, looking at the ASU impasse and some other fracas within the PDP and new developments. We'll take this quick break, and then when we come back, we'll bring you the concluding part on the Statesman podcast. My name is Swat. Stay with us. Welcome back. We continue our discussion from here. Debbie, you were trying to look at the pros and cons, on the side of the PDP. That's talking about the downside, but then also this little fracas working in favor of a new force and all of that.
Yes.
Yes.
So the attention was, immediately after the primaries, you would recall that concentration was majorly on the PDP and the APC. I would remember a lot of people saying that, why would Peter Obi resort to going to the Labour Party? What would he be getting at the end of the day? And lots of people were loud as regarding the fact that he had more online followership than the physical followership. But as it were, The big bombshell, came from the picking of vice presidential candidates by the PDP. Then from the Muslim ticket that caused an uproar and, a kind of disagreement amongst people, of
Yeah.
which I think that shouldn't really be an issue to concentrate
Really, with the
on.
dynamic and heterogeneous
religion,
nature of
religion is
Nigeria.
an issue to consider. But, when it comes to making a choice,
Yeah.
it's a political season. We have many political parties. So I need not concentrate on a particular party. So if you've not given me a
the
combo
reason why
I like,
I
I'll
guess
choose another
Nigerians
combo.
are bothered about that because yes, you have the option. You have 18 political parties registered.
Okay.
But the truth is the chance of probably an APC that has the Muslim ticket. What if they win? What if it was, for example, a let's say the PDP or the Labour Party or any other party? So people, as much as you belong to another party, your interest is more here. You should also be concerned with what is happening all around because the tendency is that they might win. So I guess that's where some of these complaints.
I think the reason for the fear is because the APC is the ruling party.
Yeah.
And if we had, if we believe in the electoral system and we believe in INEC as an electoral body, we should not be bothered about that because the incumbent can be unseated by a reason as little as a Muslim ticket, a reason as little as, who's the presidential candidate, and so many other reasons. So that shouldn't be a reason to bother about. That doesn't even give me reason for worry. But what bothers me the most is the fact that we still have youth who do not understand what we need right now as a people.
How do you mean?
Okay, so we have youths who are looking at who knows who amongst the candidates in the political party, their antecedents. They are looking at, forget about speaking English. We have people who have been there into politics for a long time and they seem to know more. But right now, in our time, I do not think we need people who were there for a long time. What we need now is people who have the will to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Be it a new person who is emerging, as long as they will do what they say and they give us an action plan. Okay, this is what we want. This is a goal we are set out to achieving. Yes, we have the Labour Party candidate speaking loudly, telling us what he would want, he is willing to do at the end of the day. And my hopes would be that he translates it and
to reality. But then
reality.
I don't know if you've also followed up on the some of the words, utterances of the other candidates. The LP candidate has been out even on CNN, and I think sometime last week I discussed that with my guest. But then have you also been following, closely on things that are being said by other candidates? Because I believe beyond the frenzy, we need to be very realistic about what these people are saying. We understand the problem of Nigeria and how deeply rooted and entrenched it is. And so you want someone who's speaking from a point of view of reality. If you tell me, I will come around and I'm going to build 20 refineries like we've been hearing, I will not vote for you. God knows, because I know that's a lie. You understand?
Well,
so there are some realistic things that people will say, and there are some that just, that these guys are just talking.
It could not be a lie. They may have the will to do it. They may want to say it. It's a different thing to have the power of oration and another to be able to carry out what you have said or remember what you actually promised during your campaign. So as it were, they could be saying things, but I think accountability should be the watchword. How many of them would be able to hold on to what they have said and fulfill at the end of the day? And we Nigerians, would we be able to hold them onto what we hold you. You said you're going to give us roads within 100 days in office and you have not provided these roads, so do something. If you don't do something,
just sad.
you get impeached.
It's sad for me that at a time like this, Nigerian politicians are still talking about road. We're talking about unity.
We're talking about light.
Exactly.
We'll fire you and water you.
These are issues that were still talked about, in the 1970s, and, when some of these politicians, maybe the First Republic, or even the 60s, when the likes of Awolowo, Obasanjo, Nnamdi Azikiwe were still within the
Yeah.
political scene, you're trying to make it work.
Mm.
But we're still talking about this same stuff in 2000 and something,
Mm.
when in other climes, we're looking at harnessing on all that's been built over the years. Are
Mm.
you not worried about that?
Well, it gives me reason for concern. And you know what? I may sound a little bit pessimistic, as it were, because
Mm.
what we have on ground right now may not change. We need time, to stabilize, as it were.
Mhm.
I would pity whoever would, take over
Because of the
from
mess.
the incumbent. Yes, because of what we already have on ground, a
Mhm.
whole lot of aspects, a whole lot of sectors begging for attention.
Yeah.
We just talked about ASUU not long ago. We have the health sector. Talking about the health
Oil
sector,
and
about
gas.
the medical personnel
Think about
traveling and doing the
exactly brain
jackpot
drain.
thing.
Mhm.
So a lot needs to be done. And who would do this? A man who is ready to do the right thing, irrespective of whose ox is
Is
God.
God.
So
Mm. Okay.
that's it.
I think those are the kind of leaders we need.
Yeah.
So, lastly, though, I mean, we're beginning to round up. What would you say? And there's a specific reason why I had to merge the fracas between the federal government and ASU, and also trying to bring the PDP fracas right
Yeah.
now. How much do you think, or what sort of government do you think we need? I know you've already said a man who's willing to, or people who will be willing to be accountable to the people. But at the end of the day, we need our sector, the educational sector, revived, because any country that does not prioritize education is just headed for doom. So, what do we need moving forward as we edge closer and closer to the campaigns and 2023 for government that will come in and ensure that education is given priority?
Okay, so let me generalize this. I personally think what we need is for the generality of Nigerians to become statesmen, citizens, and not tribesmen, because we have a major problem.
Okay.
A problem of I'm an Igbo man, I'm a Hausa man, I'm a Yoruba man.
Yeah.
So no matter who we have put to take charge of a particular sector, we begin to look at that head from his tribe's point of view, and not from the point of he is there to make this thing right.
Yeah.
So let's begin from there. Let's start looking at this trouble as a collective problem that we all need to join
Yeah,
hands
yeah.
together to make work. So if Peter Obi emerges as president, let Tinubu or the Yoruba man not think, okay, he's an Igbo man, or the Hausa man think he's an Igbo man. Or if Atiku emerges eventually, let's not think, no, he's a Hausa or a Fulani man, as the case
Yeah,
may be.
yeah.
If we unite, then it will work. If we do not, the ship will definitely sink.
Well, if we do not unite, the ship will definitely sink and all of us will drown. It's not going to leave anyone afloat, because we all are Nigerians. And I think these are very deep words. This is how we draw the curtain today on the Statesman podcast. Thanking you so much for joining us. Debbie, thank you once again for coming.
I appreciate
I hope you
you.
come next time I invite you.
Yeah, sure.
All right,
Thanks for
guys.
inviting me.
Have a wonderful day. My name is Swat, and I'll see you next time.